www.patreon.com/bsnerds. You can go on patreon.com right now, and you can get access to all of our unedited episodes. We have about 3 or 4 episodes right now, completely uncut. There's no chopped off parts. There's nothing edited about it. It is just the raw, full 2+ hours typically for every episode. You can go get all the access. You can get exclusive content. There's going to be more content coming up that's going to be exclusive to Patreon members. $1 a month unlocks all our content, everything we have. Patreon.com/bsnerds.
Hold up!
Dave, this is Joe.
I listened to that podcast and I was like, I am willing.
That sounds really cool. And then Chris Humphrey's hard fouls and Kevin Garnett pushes him straight into the third row. Let's go. My name is Dave. This is Joe. Let's go.
This is the Boston Sports Nerds Podcast, the B.S.N Show.
Joe, you got anything you want to say before you go?
No, we have talked a lot.
We have talked a lot. Nothing left in the tank.
Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the 30th episode of the Boston Sports Nerds Podcast, the B.S.N Show. My name is Dave, and of course, I'm accompanied by my 2 fellow nerds here, Aaron and Joe.
Yeah, me and Aaron are really just here along for the ride while Dave talks to his old friend Michael Holley.
That day at Mohegan Sun, I was trying to tell them, was that the day that Francona got fired, or they hired Bobby Valentine? Do you remember?
Yeah. Bobby Valentine got hired that day, and Francona just happened to be at Mohegan because he was paying off this little thing we used to do called lunch. First, it started off with lunch with Tito.
Mm-hmm.
So you could ask the question of the day, and if we picked your question, and you won a drawing, you got a chance to go to Fenway. It started off at Fenway, lunch in Tito's office, which was pretty cool, until one day we saw like a rat in there or something. As we were eating. We're not going to do it here. So we just kind of continued to upgrade, and eventually we got the Mohegan Sun. He loves to gamble, Tito.
Oh, yeah.
So we got the Mohegan Sun. So after the collapse, the chicken and beer collapse of 2011, he got he got fired, but they, how they
Right.
said,
Yeah.
oh, well, we chose to go in a different direction, or he needed a change, or whatever it was.
Right.
But we were wondering, is he still going to do this thing? And he did it anyway. So we went down there, he gambled, we had dinner, and it was hilarious. I can say this now, but we were sitting there at dinner with him, and he was getting he was unbelievable that night, but he was getting text messages from all sorts of players on the team, just like blowing up his phone, like, "Can you believe we hired Bobby Valentine? Can you believe this? This is going to suck.
Oh,
It's
man.
terrible."
Oh, man, that's funny.
All through dinner. I mean, he's like, "Oh, we got another one. The wine was flowing. The text messages were flowing. It was a good time.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's where I think at the time there was the rumors about Danny Ainge was interested in trying to acquire Chris Paul for Rajon Rondo, and I asked you what you thought about it. And then,
I probably said, no, I don't want Chris Paul or Rondo.
You said you did, and then you asked me, you said,
okay.
And I said, I didn't. And then you're like, if you have a chance to get Chris Paul, you get Chris Paul. And then you had to go back to doing the show, and then you guys went to commercial break. I'm sitting at the bar lending Mikey Adams cigarettes, and you call me over, Rondo, come here. And then we continued our argument, whatever. So, and then I actually met you and Salk about 5 years later, whatever it was, 4 or 5 years later, down at Mohegan again with Teddy Bruschi.
No, it just seemed like 4 years later, but it wasn't.
Oh, was it? Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, I don't know.
No, we were doing that fantasy football,
right.
The fantasy football special. Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
And with Bruschi was there?
Yep, yeah, that was it, yeah.
Bruschi was great that night, wasn't he?
He was good. He was really good.
Brewski's great every night.
Brewski's great every night. So,
but here's the cool thing about Brewski though that night. What really stood out to me was that it was this, and this is before so-called legitimate jocks just fully endorsed fantasy football. It was still like at that time there were still some people who thought, oh yeah,
right,
that's for the nerds. Nobody really, nobody who's ever played the game is going to be into fantasy football. And his information that night was off the charts.
Yeah, he was really good.
So he was talking about, guys you should draft, and he's got his own league, and it's like a father and son league, with his neighbors and their kids.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah, that was a good time. So I guess to kind of start off the interview portion with you here, I was wondering, like, through your professional history, like, what made you get into TV, radio, news, media coverage? Like, you've kind of covered the map as far as different outlets, as far as covering teams or doing sports talk. What made you get into it? And do you feel like the Globe was your big break? Did you, like, know that at the time that it was happening?
I think it's all, parts of it have been accidental.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of it has been accidental. And then, most of it has just been the grace of God, to tell you the truth. I mean, I've always wanted to be, I wanted to be a sports writer. Let's start off there. I knew I wanted to be a sports writer. I was probably 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And I thought I'd spend my entire career, or I wanted to spend my entire career, writing for a newspaper. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And so every move I made academically, professionally, from like 11 or 12 all the way through college, was with working for a newspaper in mind. That was my big goal.
Mm.
I thought that would be a cool life.
Right. Yeah.
Which it is, but I never thought of radio. I never thought of TV. I never thought of writing books. I was just very limited, very focused on what I wanted to do. So I went to school in Pittsburgh, had majored in journalism, and I'd say the first big break I got was an internship at my hometown newspaper, Akron, Ohio.
Right, the Akron
So I
Beacon.
was working at that, the Akron Beacon Journal, and the break. So this is why it's just like bigger than me. It's much bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to get an internship. That's cool enough. There was a paying internship.
Yeah.
That was pretty good too. But even bigger than that was they hadn't had a sports intern for 10 years.
Oh wow.
So I think they had forgotten what having an intern was like. It had that nice 10-year gap. And so it allowed me to be overrated to a degree. Now, I worked hard. I did work hard, and I did what they told me to do, and I asked a lot of questions, and did whatever they wanted. But the fact is, if you haven't seen an intern in a while, you're like, man, this guy's unbelievable. Like, I was okay. You just kind of forgot what it's like to have a gopher, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but that put me in good standing with them. Then I got an internship after that, and this is another thing that I didn't want to happen, but it did. I got an internship in Cleveland, and I wanted it to be in sports, but they told me, they said, the good news is we're going to give you an internship. Bad news for you is that internship is going to be in news, and so you're going to be covering town meetings, and city hall, and all this stuff.
Right.
And stuff that you don't want to do, but it's going to help you in your career, because what happens, you're at a sporting event, some news breaks out. And at that time, I was thinking, oh, yeah, right. But think about what sports is today, what sports coverage is today. There's a lot of news, a lot of things happen outside of, in the sports realm, that really become huge news stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a great experience for me. I didn't want to do it, but I'm glad I did. And I had some really tough editors at the Cleveland Plain Dealer. Say that newspapers are so different. I would say Akron was more like a junior varsity Boston Globe, in that writers had a lot of freedom to kind of experiment with their stories. Cleveland was more straight-laced, and, hey, just give me the news, baby.
Right.
Don't be messing around. I don't want all this colorful stuff in there. Just give it to me straight.
Yeah.
And so the editors, they were intense. But once again, it was good for me, because I learned to work for two different kinds of newspapers and those styles. I mean, you got to be fluent in both styles. I think. Sometimes you just got to give it. You got to give it the news. Give the news what it deserves, without any spin.
Right.
And sometimes you got to be an entertainer. And so I think just early in my career, I got both sides of it. But I was putting my head down. I got my first job at the Akron Beacon Journal when I was 22, and I really wasn't thinking about leaving town or climbing the ladder. It just so happened that the Globe called out of nowhere, and I was so ignorant of just what a big deal it was. I was relaxed, and I'm glad I didn't overthink it, because if I had, I probably would have just fumbled through the interview.
Mm-hmm. Now,
I would say, yeah, that was it. That was like in 1994.
Now, is that common also? Like, is that commonplace where newspapers will find other talent, or do most journalists have to search for their work?
It wasn't common for me. I can just tell you that was pretty incredible. As a matter of fact, that same weekend, it was one weekend, I'll never forget it. I got calls from. I was like the hot guy at that time. I must have said something or done something. I don't know.
Oh,
I got calls from the New York Post and the Boston Globe.
Wow!
Like on the same day.
Jeez, how'd you choose? How'd you choose?
So I had to choose.
Right.
And so I was, it really wasn't a tough decision for me. I was actually blowing off the New York Post, and their editor. I mean, it did not surprise. The Post was real aggressive. They would call all the time. They would call like around the clock, 2:00 in the morning. The phone was ringing. It's the editor from the New York Post. Dude, what are you doing?
Right.
Why are you calling me? I just felt like the Globe was the best fit for me. I was blown away. By them. Now, keep in mind, I just tell you, I don't feel old, but as I tell these stories, I guess I'm old, because this started 1994. There's no internet. Isn't that crazy? There's no internet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's
so the editor, sports editor from the Globe, is calling me up. He said, all right, so what can we do? What do you need to know about us? I said, well, could you, this is how long ago it was, could you send me some copies of the newspaper? Could you send me like some, sports section?
Like snail mail.
Yeah. He like sent them in. Oh yeah, they'll be there in a couple days. All right, man. Thank you. There's no BostonGlobe.com.
Right.
So I remember him sending. I remember it like yesterday. He sent like 2 or 3 Sunday Globes, Sunday sports section. Mm-hmm. One, like Peter Gammons was doing an article on Hank Aaron. Long article on Hank. And there's Will McDonough's football note. And Jackie McMullen, I think Jackie McMullen was doing NBA notes at the time. So she had her notes in there. And it was just, I spent so much time just looking at before I read anything, I was just looking at the paper saying, I can't believe there's so much space and energy is devoted to the sports section. And just for perspective, my paper that I work for, the Akron Beacon Journal, I could read the paper cover to cover in about an hour.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that Sunday sports section, I spent 45 minutes with it. I like 30 minutes on Gammon's Sunday note. I mean, it was really an eye-opening experience for me. So I was happy to go there and just sit on the bench and learn from as many people as I could. Right. And that was just in sports, but the paper overall was just teeming with superstars.
No kidding. I'm going to let one of the other guys here get a couple questions in. So,
hey, share the ball,
right,
man.
Exactly, yeah.
Share the ball.
Like I said, we're just along for the ride. It's just 2 friends catching up.
Okay, so hey, Mike, this is Aaron. I just wanted to ask you, now that Boston, the Celtics are starting to bring in some like bigger name free agents, finally starting to break through and get bigger names to come here, not just because of a trade or because you picked somebody else up. I'll come there now. It seems like, is Boston becoming a destination for free agents?
Yes.
Finally,
I think so.
Finally,
Why do you think that is? Like, why do you say so convincingly now? Is it just because of the recent history, or is it Brad Stevens?
It's talent. It's just getting talent there. I mean, it's simple. And I know we used to think about, we go over and over, hey, why don't free agents want to come to Boston? It's the racial history of Boston. Is it, it's a cold weather city. Is it because the trains shut down at 12:30 a.m. and they want to go places that have better nightlife? Maybe there are elements of that for some free agents, but really what it comes down to is winning. And so now they're winning, and that's why on consecutive Fourth of Julys, you had Al Horford committing, and then you had Gordon Hayward. I mean, right around the fourth. And the fact that that's why you got the meeting with Kevin Durant. He didn't pick you, but he met with you because of your possibility of winning.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that before you called, because the Patriots never seem to have a problem getting free agents to come there, and it's because they win.
And the Red Sox.
Yeah, same
Red
thing.
Sox too. They win and spend. Now that's in baseball, spending is a factor because no salary cap, but but in the other sports, salary cap sports, it's just what are you doing? I'm not. I can get paid anywhere. I can probably get this salary if I'm a max contract guy. I can get a max contract from my own team or some other team. So what else are you bringing to the table? And you can be competitive. That's huge.
Right. That's true.
So, hey, Mike, this is Joe. I want to ask you
Joe.
about the Patriots. I'm a big football guy. So, do you think this is the best Patriots team they've ever had? Just on paper, I guess, because we haven't seen them play yet. So.
Yeah, that's a good one, Joe. That's a good question, and I guess you could answer the question by just kind of comparing how you feel the Patriots' defense is right now compared to, I'd say the other candidates are 07 and 04.
Yeah.
And 04 Patriots, man.
That's who I always pick.
Take away. I mean, you think about so they're big. The 03 Patriots, they have Antoine Smith and Kevin Falk as featured runners because neither one of them was really a one at that point. Antoine had started to fall off. So you bring in Corey Dillon to upgrade over Antoine Smith. So you got Corey Dillon, and you still have Kevin Falk.
Yeah.
In the backfield, and you got a defense. 03 and 04, they were either 1 or 2. Like 1 year they finished first, and the other year they were second. You got a young Brady, but he's still good enough to lead the offense. I mean, it's not like it wasn't like 01 Brady.
It was a different Brady, though.
You had Vinatieri. I mean, like who would you say like 04? It just all depends on defense because offensively you're still talking about Brady, but the defensive personality of all those teams is different. 04, 07, and now. Completely different.
You think it was a different kind of Brady, though? I mean, he hadn't really ascended, statistically at least, to the point he's at now.
Yeah, he's smart, though.
Yeah.
He was really smart. So anyway, he won in 01.
Yeah.
He'd already won again in 03. So now you got Tom Brady with 2 Super Bowls under his belt.
Yeah.
He's already got an MVP from the 01 he's got 2 Super Bowl MVPs, as a matter of fact.
Right.
He's got 2 of them.
Yeah.
I guess it really comes down to what do you think Stephon Gilmore adds to the defense? Because they didn't really lose anything.
Right. Logan Ryan and Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, what do you think about that
what's
swap?
The difference there?
What do you think he adds?
Yeah, that's the big one. That's the big question. I think Gilmore is, and then also, what are you going to get up front? Because if I compare this team to, if I compare this front seven, I'm not comparing the front seven. Let's go front four.
Yeah.
Compare the front fours from 04, 07, and then today. Well, you think about 07 front four, you have Vince.
Yep.
And I know they didn't win in 07, but man.
That was one of the better assembled teams. Yeah.
Not bad. But you have Vince, Seymour, Ty Warren.
That's
wow.
That's strong.
That's good.
And,
that's definitely stronger than this one.
04, you got Vince still. You got Vince as a rookie. You got Seymour.
Yeah. That's already stronger than this front four.
You still got Warren.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because really, I mean, what is it right now? It'd be like Coney Ely.
Flowers.
Flowers
is probably your big guy. Not your big guy, but he's going to be the one I'm looking at the most for sacks,
Right.
pressure on the quarterback.
They got some questions. Yeah, there's some questions because what does Ely give you? I mean, does he play like that guy? And he had a great Super Bowl, and he was like an up and coming star for the Panthers. Then they kind of
Right. And then who's the other guy
lost
too?
faith in him.
Lorenzo Guy, is that the other one?
Lawrence guy?
Lawrence Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So yeah,
On the Ravens.
there's some depth questions. I wouldn't write them off yet. You know what I mean? But it's just you don't know. So it's tough to answer, like I would say your question about are they better? Because that, Mike, you bring up a good point about the four. That front four is tough to anoint right now.
it's
Yeah.
hot.
Or, hey, here's another one we should think about. How about 2014 or 2016?
Yeah.
How about last year's team? Last year's team, undefeated on the road,
Number one
two
scoring
games
defense.
overall, one game with Brady, and then come back 25 down in the Super Bowl. I mean,
Right.
it's pretty, and fewest points allowed in football.
Right.
Yeah, that's the question, though. Since that team was so good, in my opinion, the team looks better than it was last year. I mean, we haven't seen them play a snap, but just going off the talent they added, the team seems better to me than they were last year, and last year's team was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think during the conversation, I'd love to do like a bracket on it.
Yeah, like the best assembled Patriots teams.
bracketology.
Yeah.
03, 04. We got to put we'll put 4 teams in there. We can't put 07. This is in win. That's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Can't put them in. So we'll go 03, 04. We'll leave out the 2001 Patriots. Too bad. Don't make the cut here. Sorry. My favorite championship team doesn't make the cut. And then you go 14 and 16.
Right.
And then you battle it out. See who the winner is.
That's crazy. How would you seed those? Like, what's the matchups?
Yeah.
I think you got to seed them based on record, but then that's going to be tough too because I know 3 of those teams were
14-2, right?
We're all on I know that 3 of them were 14-2, and then 14 was what 12-4.
Yeah, that might be. Yeah, that might be true.
That was when they started off 2-2.
Right.
They started off 2-2.
Right.
Yeah, and then they lost to Green Bay, and then they punted the last game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're 12-4. So they have to be seeded 4th, and then you have to. I think you have to seed the 04 Patriots first, just because they won back-to-back champions. So give them their respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess.
And then maybe I put 03 third and last year's team
Second.
second.
Yeah. Last year's team was a lot of fun to watch. That was an incredible football season last year for the Patriots. I think the NFL product is a little down, but I think that the Patriots season was just that's one of those Blu-rays that I need to own. Like in 10, 15 years, go back and be like, oh yeah, like I forgot about the 16 Patriots. Like that's a really good roster and just an exciting season. Speaking of the Patriots, though, Mike, I of course I was trying to do a little bit of homework on you and find out your work history, stuff like that.
How'd that work out? How's
Good.
Go?
Your Wikipedia page wasn't too time consuming, but there was.
Oh yeah,
but
Wikipedia, but it may not be accurate either. But
I'm sure. No, I'm sure. But one of the fans of the show actually mentioned to me. He says, "Yeah, Holley used to do that show with Max Kellerman," and I forgot all about that. And speaking of the Patriots, now Kellerman's kind of got the bad rap as a Patriots hater with the whole Brady's going to fall off a cliff comment and all that. As the only guy that I know of in Boston media that has a direct connection with him, is he? Do you still talk to him? Do you have a relationship? And what's he like? Like, is he just an outlandish kind of radio personality or on-air personality?
I haven't talked to him probably in about a year and a half. I like him very much. As a matter of fact, he's one of the smartest people I've ever worked with.
Really?
Very, very bright person. Is he a Patriots hater? Of course. I mean, he's a New Yorker. He doesn't have much to say about any Boston team or Boston as a city. But I enjoyed talking to him. Now our show did not work, and I think and it was canceled. It should have been canceled. It never. I think we probably need a little more time before we came out of the blocks. Probably should have just thought it through more before we began, because we started, and within like a month or two, we were changing the format a little bit. Then a couple months later, we were changing the format again. And then we were done. And so I think with any new show, and that's why I never criticize new shows too early.
Right.
It takes time. It takes time just to figure out what you're doing and to get your identity. And if you're not committed to, if I were to start a new show, I'd say, look, if you're not going to give it like a year or two, I'm not really interested in being a part of it. Sometimes you just have to go through some rough patches and allow people to gel to figure out what you have. And, you know, you look at First Take, and I don't know if you're a fan or not, or Max's current show, but First Take on ESPN, remember, it started as this thing called Cold Pizza.
Right.
That was like in 2002 or 2003, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Then, as you know, it had like a bunch of people on the show, and they're doing like, you know, human interest kind of stuff, and they had highlights, and they're trying to do a new show. And they move on from a couple of characters on the show, and they add a couple more characters. Then they had a whole thing where they had Woody Page and Skip, but that was like inside the show, but that wasn't just, it just wasn't a pure debate show. Now we're up to like 07, 08, 09. And it wasn't until recently they figured out, okay, this is what we have to be. So you think about that. There was probably like 7 or 8 years where they're still tweaking, but the show was still on the air in some form. And then finally they say, we got it. Now, I understand a lot of companies don't have that type of patience and don't have those resources to keep waiting and experimenting. But if you're patient with TV shows, relationships, you usually get the payoff.
Right.
And they're getting it now.
Oh, there you go. Also, I wanted to ask about, I'm a big-time WEEI listener. I've been listening to that station for 20 years. My dad used to drive me around, and that's all we listened to. We didn't listen to music. Like, anyway, at a certain age, he stopped showing me songs. So I recall, and not that it was that long ago, but the Tim Benz sensitivity argument that you guys had, was that real?
Yeah.
Was that like a real... How serious was that?
Was that the you feel me thing? You feel me?
Well, with me, I just can't imagine, like, I'm not criticizing anybody. But I'm just telling you, for me, if I'm saying something to the air, if I say I'm happy about something on the air, I really am. And if something is bothering me, I'll tell you that it's bothering me. So if we were having an argument and it sounded real, it's real.
Right, I got you.
Like, I just can't imagine like going into somebody, hey man, I'm going to pick on you today, but don't take it personally. I'm just messing around. I'm trying to get something going on the radio. No, it's just too much. I can't do that.
Right.
I feel like.
So like I'm a big Kirk Minahan fan.
I just can't play. I just don't want to play those kind of games.
Right.
Life's too short. I enjoy what I do. I don't really want to be an actor. I don't want my professional life to be all that different from my personal life. I mean, there are certain things I do in my personal life that I don't bring to the air. Right. What I'm saying is, like, who I am is who I am. Like, what you hear on the air, that's pretty much me. That's
so like
what I do.
I'm a big Kirk Minahan fan, and I feel like a Kirk Minahan apologist a lot, especially with these two guys, because like, he's such a prick, and I'm like, it's all shtick, or at least from what I can tell. I listen to his podcast a lot, and he seems like a different person there than he is on air, and I don't want to have you on and talk about all these other old EEI personalities and Max Kellerman, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that he does, it's just being provocative. He's just trying to poke, and he's trying to create a buzz. And with you, with that Tim Benz thing, I remember you coming in, and he's just like, we good? Or whatever. He's like, yeah. He's like, no, you called me sensitive. And I was like, oh man, is this like a real like altercation here on the air? Like it felt real, and you're right. And if it looks real and feels real, then it probably was real or whatever. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that was just.
I thought he was sensitive. I think he was sensitive. I really do. Oh, you can't be. Look, I think we're all sensitive, and I believe calling somebody thin-skinned is ridiculous, because I think everybody's thin-skinned. Mm-hmm. Even the people who pretend that they're not. Even I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Yes, you are. Nobody nobody just sits around and wants you to just rip on them and attack them. Nobody wants that. So, but I think you got to be able to manage it. And when you first get to Boston, and it's tough. I don't know if I would have been able to do it on the air. See, I was able to come in with some anonymity because I started in newspapers. So there was my picture wasn't in the paper. I was just another byline in the Boston Globe, and I was able to spend a good 2 or 3 years just figuring out the sports teams, figuring out the city. What's the difference between the orange line and the blue line? Okay, what's the difference between this part of Beacon Street and that part of Beacon Street? Why are there like 15 Washington streets? And why does Tremont break up like this and all that? Okay, all the things you got to learn about the city, and then the personalities of the different kind of nuances of neighborhoods. Like South Boston is not like the South End. All right, so you just got to know. And to come in to a new city and then just go on the air and you're expected to be provocative and compelling. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I would say it's in Boston. It's almost impossible.
No kidding.
Yeah, because imagine if you come in and you say, "Well, I'm not gonna step on anybody's toes. I'm just trying to listen and learn before I go hard with my opinions." Then people will say, "Man, the guy has no opinions."
Right.
Then if you go in there and say, "I'm going to show him what I'm all about. I'm going to jump some real opinions," and they say, "This guy he's not even from here. What is he talking about?"
That was Tim Benz.
That was Tim Benz.
That was Tim Benz.
Salk was the same way too.
And then he couldn't take it when people didn't like his opinions.
Right.
Yeah, and you got to know that. I would say that's the first thing. They will come in, even when people like you, they'll rip you. They like you.
Right.
They still rip you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's okay. And so I don't know what advice I would give people. I would say, yeah, don't take some of it personally, but not all of it. Mm-hmm. Because there are people like I know most of our callers, or the regular callers. And so I've had debates with many of them. I've had screaming matches with many of them. And they call back a week later. I'm like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" "Hey, Michael, what's up?" It's cool. That's just sports. Sometimes you talk sports even with your friends or your brother or your sister, and it gets heated.
Right.
It's just that moment, and then you move on.
Right, right.
But it's a great place. It is the best place in the country to do what we do. Just to be a sports observer, a sports writer. There is not another place in the United States that takes it as seriously as Boston, where it matters as much. Where there's just so much engagement, no matter where you turn. Whether we're talking about your podcast or 2 radio stations, TV, newspapers, whatever it is, people are just in it. Right. And I did notice it. I noticed that when I first got to town. I went to Fenway Park, sitting there watching the baseball game, and people in front of me were asking why a reliever wasn't in the game for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Hey, he pitched last night. That's why he's not in there. Like, oh man, okay. This is not one of these. Hey, I'm just at the baseball game. Who's number 16 again? No, these were real baseball fans who knew their team, knew the other team, knew where they were in the standings before there was a big sign out there in left field telling you what the standings were. Mm-hmm. They knew about the Sox. They knew about the Yankees. They knew about the personnel on the bench. It was really a great experience, an eye-opener. See, when you come to Boston, you can't just be slapping it out there. Right. You come to Boston, you better be ready. You better be ready. You better know your stuff. You better be able to back it up, because I just say the average fan is right there with you. And there's a certain knowledge base that they expect you to have And once they sense that you don't have it, I think they'll eat you alive.
So, Mike, now that you've done all this and you've written all the books and you've gotten on the radio and you've done all this, what's the future hold for Michael Holley? You going to be take over for Jerry Callahan when he retires, or are you going to be the next Stephen A. Smith? Like, what's next for Michael Holley?
The next Stephen A. Smith. I like Steve. There's already a Stephen A. Smith.
No, I mean, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like,
I love him. I love him. He's a friend from many, many years ago. He used to cover the 76ers, and I was covering the Celtics. And I think he's great at what he does. Mm-hmm. But taking over for that person, taking over for that, no, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds.
So what's the next book then?
You got any ideas? I wish you. Do you have an idea for me?
Something about the Celtics, especially if they win this year or anything like that, man. Like, the in between years and how how Danny rebuilt it. Like, that seems like that would be a great story.
All right.
Or you could do one.
I want you to write up a proposal. Give me like a proposed table of contents, and I'll give you some credit.
There we go.
But seriously, on your question, I think. Well, the number one thing, I'm just grateful for the position I'm in right now. And I mentioned like the grace of God earlier. That's not a throwaway line. I mean, it really is just being in position, to allow the Almighty to tell me what I should be doing next. It really, this career is an answered prayer for me. It's what I do remember. I vividly remember praying about journalism. God, this is what I want to do. Please help me do it. And here we go. And he said, "Oh, yeah. Not only will I help you be a sports writer, you'll write some books, and can you believe it? Your mug will be on TV. You'll be on the radio." So I'm just grateful for the place that I'm in right now, and I don't know what's going to happen. I've never done that. I've never said, "Well, this is where I want to be in 5 years." Things have just happened, and you're in a position to either take an opportunity or decline an opportunity.
So rolling with the punches.
Yeah, pretty much. I enjoy what I do very much, and I love writing. So when book ideas descend, there's a book idea. Wow, let's work on that. And TV opportunity came up, and then the book, 2 books had just been completed when the TV opportunity arose. And I said, okay, well, I think this is what I should be doing right now. And then working on radio with Dale and Keith, I think it's as strong as we've ever been right now. And that's no slight at anybody else I've ever worked with, but I think this is the group.
No, I think we all kind of agree on that. We all like the diagram.
I think we got a lot of room to grow too.
Yep, we like the dynamic. Joe.
So you mentioned to Aaron that he should draw up a table of contents, a proposal, and stuff like that. Is that your what's your process when you're starting a new book? Do you have a certain one you go through, or anything like that?
Yeah, it's very exciting. I get, and I can feel it. I just know when there's a book project or there's an idea that just won't let you sleep. Woo, boy, man, that's great. That's a great feeling because that's all you're thinking about. Like, for example, with War Room, I just remember just kind of hanging out on the beach. I was on the beach, and because I had been thinking for 2 years, I wanted to do something on the draft, but I just kept coming back. I couldn't get out of my own head, and I just kept saying to myself, "Yeah, I want to do something on the draft, But nobody wants to just read a draft book.
I do.
And I don't want to just write a draft, like a book about, hey, here's a guy, and he was at the combine. And so then I started thinking, all right, how about a draft book with a heartbeat? Now, they're people, they're characters that are allowing me to write the draft book, but then they have a story. And then I was sitting there on the beach, and then bam, Bill Belichick and Scott Pioli and Thomas Dimitrov, because they're in different places, and they are all connected to the Patriots. And what if I do a book, 1/3 Patriots, 1/3 Falcons, 1/3 Chiefs, and then talk with Dimitrov and Pioli and Belichick?
Yeah, I have a bone to pick with you about War Room, actually, because I tried to buy it on Audible, and I can't find it.
You mean you can't find it?
What
do you mean you can't find it?
I can't find War Room on Audible. I always listen. I'm a big book on tape guy, and I could not find War Room on Audible. I really want to listen to it because I'm fascinated by the behind the scenes in football, and I couldn't find War Room. I found Belichick and Brady, great book, but I couldn't find War Room. So
where do you live?
We live in Connecticut, southeastern Connecticut.
Are you telling me southeastern Connecticut has no bookstores? Is that what you're telling me right now?
He won't read. That's what I told him. I told him to read it. I have a copy of the book, not in front of me here, but I have a copy, and I told him to read it. But he says that he does driving for a living, so it's easier for him to just listen.
Okay,
you know?
all right, okay, driving for a living. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I have to figure out why you can't get the book to listen to, but yeah, it was fun. So the process is you get the idea, and then you can't stop thinking about it, and you just read what I do is just read a bunch of books that might be a part of the book for research purposes. And sometimes, you read a bunch of books, and maybe like 2 or 3 things jump out that you'll use actually in the book itself. You start writing down names of people you want to interview, kind of sketch out an outline, and then you go. But that's the important part. I think that's the important part. Go, 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 go. I talk to so many people who say, one day I'll write a book. Well, that one day's got to be tomorrow, my friend. It's got to be tomorrow. You got to go. And it's the easiest thing for a lot of people to do is sit back and criticize someone who's doing something. But I always say, at least they're doing something.
Yeah, well, it's like when I listen to a lot of Kevin Smith's podcasts, and he always says, just do one, even if it's just to talk to your mother for an hour, record the conversation, do it. And it just seems like that's the thing you need to do that I hear from all of you guys of any, get anywhere in this world is just get out there and do it. No one's going to help you. Do it.
That's right. The first book I did, okay, that's fun. It's good. Now, once you complete it, now it opens up. Finishing one book, from my experience, I don't know if other writers are like this, but when I finish one, when I'm toward the end of it, I usually get an idea for another one.
Makes sense.
So, at the end of Patriot Reign, I'm just thinking about another book, and it was Teddy. So at the end of the Teddy Bruschi book, thinking about Red Sox managers. And I said, okay, I wonder if Tito would do a book. And that was it. And that's number 3. Then I told you about the beach and War Room. And then, Belichick and Brady is like a grown-up War Room. It's really like a grown-up Patriot Reign. It's like part 3 of a trilogy. Mm-hmm. And then, David Ortiz, it's right there. I mean, it's an obvious book to do. I wonder if he'll want to do it. Oh, he wants to do it? And there it is. So, the next one might be something completely different. But I do believe that part of the reason I'm here on the planet is to write. And so I must write. And it won't always be sports. I write poetry. I think about plays. So I'll write other things. But I think that's something that I need to do because it's a completely different way of thinking for me. There are certain things that I will say in a book that I would never imagine, that wouldn't come to my mind as I'm sitting in front of a microphone. The only way I can access it is through the written word. I can't explain it, but that's just the way it's been. I mean, there are times, and I read through the books for editing purposes, going back and forth with an editor, hey, change this, hey, reinforce that, take that away. So I'm reading it that way, but I usually don't read them for pleasure till like 2 or 3 years after the fact. So 2 or 3 years later, I read through a book that I've written, and I'm saying, man, I don't know where that came from. I just thought I wouldn't be able to say that, but I wrote it. I'm like, hey, that's all right. that's pretty good.
Now, Mike,
who was this Michael Holley guy?
We really appreciate you taking a few minutes here, or more than a few minutes. So we'll wrap this up soon. We'll do a quick fire last round of questions for us, and that way we don't eat up too much of your time. Is that all right with you?
All right, let's do it. Let's do I like the rapid fire. I like the lightning round.
Right. Now I have two. Yeah, zip, I'm with you. So my first question is, if you could be program director at WEEI and you could start your own radio station, what guys would you have on your roster based on all your coworkers, past and present, and what time slots would you put them in?
Who would I have on my roster? I don't know about the time slots yet.
Yeah.
All the guys that I've worked with, in Boston and nationally and everything else.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Anyone you've ever worked with before.
Oh, he's going to put the sports pope somewhere.
I think he's got to be on the roster. I think you got to have Francesa. I'd have Francesa. I'd have Michael Smith, my boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would have. Now this is my roster. I've already. I don't want to lose what I already have.
Right.
So don't. So my roster is already. I already got the people who are at EEI right now. Right.
Yeah.
I already have it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna. I want to add to my roster, and then I'll just figure out like who I want to trade, who I want to cut,
right?
Who I want to cut. But I just need to. I need to have everybody in place now. I'm going to bring in Francesa. I'm going to bring in Michael Smith. I like Gasper.
Yep.
I like Jackie McMullen.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, he was pretty good. And, man, this dude can talk. I'll tell you, Chris Mannix is pretty good.
I like Chris Mannix a lot. I'm with you there. Yeah, I like him a lot. Now we're getting to cut.
I think Max is underutilized. Cedric Maxwell. I think he's got to have a place somewhere.
That's
that's a good question. Let me.
All right, so to wrap it up,
I have to come back on and give you my time slot.
Anytime you want to come back on. But now we're at cut day. First person who's on the block.
Oh, first person cut.
Yeah, first person on the block. Like, who's the first person? You can say, whatever, Glenn Orby or whatever, whoever.
Oh, this is easy.
Yeah.
You said I'm program director, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I take myself off the air. And then I just kind of sit back.
Right.
First cut, me.
There you go.
I knew that was
coming.
That
was, I knew it was coming. You worked me over there. That was good.
Yeah, I got one. It's a little different, Mike. But I'm sure you've heard people talk about it, the MFK, the three people, who do you marry, who do you F, who do you, kill. We did a March Madness bracket about our top WEEI radio personalities, and you won, and I want to point it out now.
Thank you. Yay.
Thank me. I want to
we
clarify.
all voted you.
No. I want to clarify. I voted for you on every vote. These guys picked up at the end.
Yeah.
When it got closer to the end, they voted for you. I voted for you all the way.
I was a Minahan guy. I can't lie.
We voted in the championship round. That's all that matters. We picked the right one.
So you won. There left Keefe, Fourier, and Merloni were the top other four guys. With you being the top four, who would you marry, who would you F, and who would you kill?
The F has just got to go. I just can't. I know it's just an exercise. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Hold hands with and go to the beach. Hold hands with and go to the beach.
Who'd you go on a mandate with? How
Yeah,
about
who'd
that?
you go on a mandate with?
We'll do that.
Oh, man. So out of those, who are my options again?
Keefe, Fourier, and Merloni.
He's got to marry Keith, right?
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
I feel like that.
So I think I'd have to kill Fourier.
Wow.
Oh, wow. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I just have to kill him. Yeah, nice mandate with Maloney. Talk a little baseball. Talk about hitting Rivera. What it's like to play with Pedro and Manny and all that stuff. That's good. And Nomar. It's a good conversation.
It would be
good.
nice, Lou.
But
It would be
yeah,
Lou.
they got to go down the aisle with Keith, though. Walk down the
There
aisle.
we go.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I thought.
That's what we kind of we're taking bets like, who's he marry? It's like, it's got to be Keith.
It's gotta be
Those guys they work magic together now. That 2 to 6 show, they're good.
On this show, Mike, we have 3 segments. We do a rap session, which is what you're kind of filling in for right now, and then we do I'm Not Mad at It, which is something we like during the week, and a BalkTalk, which is something we don't like. Well, I just saw that Tony Dungy made Tom Brady his 6th best quarterback of all time, and I would like to get your thoughts on that.
I think it's crazy.
It's insane,
I
right?
think, I don't. But you know what's crazier than that? Okay, the number 1 quarterback is John Elway. He's
Yeah.
the number 1 quarterback of all time. So I think that's questionable. Yeah, but some people would say John Elway is the greatest. I don't know anybody who says that, but yeah, I guess you could make that argument in Denver. But then
Only Denver.
at two, he put Steve Young. So Steve Young, you got Steve Young over Montana? What are you, crazy?
Yeah.
So that too. Then he's got Brady at 6 and still no Montana. So Montana's on his top 6. Yet he's got Aaron Rodgers at 3.
And Montana,
Before Peyton.
Montana was.
Why do you have Aaron Rodgers better than Peyton? What are you saying? I was thinking about this. I'm glad you brought it up. I was thinking about it after the show, and it was starting to frustrate me. Like, what's wrong with this guy? What's wrong? I just don't understand what your metric is. Where you're coming from? Don't get it.
Did you see his logic?
Really weird.
Did you see his logic for it? He's talked about if he was a defensive
Mobility.
coordinator. Yeah. But wasn't... Now, I'm a young buck. I didn't get to watch Joe Montana play, but was he not a pretty mobile quarterback?
Well, he was mobile, but not like Young. I mean, Young was fast. Young was like he was like Zeke. He was Zeke
left-handed.
with a more accurate. He was Zeke with accuracy.
Yeah.
So he was very fast, and and Montana could escape the rush, but he wasn't fast.
Yeah.
He wasn't slow, but he wasn't like Steve. Steve Young was like running back fast.
I guess compared to Brady.
Yeah.
Like everyone's
everyone's fast compared to Brady. Yeah, that's nuts. All right, Mike. Well, we appreciate you coming on so much. You've been very gracious with your time. Of course, the book Papi, My Story is out. This is Michael Holley on the line here, in case we forgot to do that earlier. He is a New York Times bestselling author, also on WEEI, formerly on, or still occasionally on Comcast Sportsnet, occasionally on ESPN, still too, right?
Yeah, every now and then. That's right.
Every now and then. Yeah, so go check out the book. I am about 2/3 of the way through it, and it's an incredible read. You have got to be the most interesting sports writer of, especially biography or true, nonfiction wise, is just unreal. The book is captivating. I can't put it down. So, Michael, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to ask us before you go?
For one, thank you for having me on. And what I want to ask you is, when do we do it again? What's a good date? Is it right before the Super Bowl?
We'll figure it out. If you can get us down to wherever the Super Bowl is, we'll do it there.
I'll do it even if you can't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Minnesota? You want to go to Minnesota?
Hey, whatever.
I like the cold.
Yeah, I can do it. We're born and raised in New England, man. We can do some cold. We're good with that.
So that's what I'd love to talk to you guys again, and I'll give you my whole roster breakdown of the new sports radio programming.
I like it. That's perfect. Mikey, thank you so much for coming on. And also, another thing, we can actually talk about this off air if you want, but we will be doing a fundraiser type thing. So I was going to see if maybe you could get some books for us to try and raffle off to raise some money for the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Connecticut.
Sure.
We can figure that out after. We'll get all those details done. But thank you so much for your time again, Mike. And definitely we will be in touch, and we'll do this again if we can. If we can do a Michael Holley 2.0, because I still got a bunch of behind-the-scenes questions that I need
All right,
answers to.
we'll get to them. We'll get to them all.
Perfect.
All right,
Sounds good.
appreciate you guys. Thanks for the time. God bless.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, later.
Bye.
All right, so that was Michael Holley from WEEI. Also has the book Papi, My Story out, which is a really, really great read, as we said during the interview. We want to thank Michael for coming on. What do you guys think? That was a good interview, huh?
Very overwhelmed on how great I feel right now.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Michael Holley, friend of the show,
Yeah, good friend of the show.
recurring guest.
Recurring guest, for
Dave
sure.
just rekindling things real quick.
Yeah, the Dave Holley connection is back.
Dave's old friend, Michael Holley, and now current friend of the show.
Right, yeah. He's who's my friend is your guys' friend?
Now that we have a podcast together.
Now that we do that, yeah. So it feels weird to go into a BalkTalk right after that.
It
but
doesn't,
considering
because
Right.
Michael Holley started it off for us.
he started the BalkTalk off. So let's get into ours for the week.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
That's a book.
So in case you guys weren't listening, like, I don't know, 45 seconds ago, I don't know how long ago that was, that me and Michael Holley started talking about it. Tony Dungy ranked Tom Brady his 6th best quarterback ever.
That's insane.
What do you guys think about that? Because I think it's complete nonsense, Aaron.
Just Aaron.
No. I was going to say, I know how everybody looks at me and goes, hold on. No, I'm not that guy. That's crazy.
And like Michael,
And he put fucking Aaron Rodgers ahead of him? What has Aaron Rodgers done since he won? How many Super Bowls has he won?
One.
Thank you.
The top 3 of that list has as many Super Bowl wins as Tom Brady.
Yeah. Elway has 2.
Young, 2.
2.
Rodgers
and,
has 1.
Yep.
And Brady's got 5.
He's not even in his top
listen,
5.
Right, in the top 5. How do you have 5 Super Bowls and not be in the top 5?
Just-
like, you should at least get into a spot with how many
And-
Super Bowls you won at least.
Like Holley said, no Montana. Even after 6.
After 6. Also, delete what I just said, because that means you could have 1 Super Bowl ring, and then that means you should be 1. so the whole how many rings you have shouldn't be your place. But Brady has fucking 5 rings.
That finishes my argument.
Right.
That I always have.
delete it. Delete. Fucking broken hearties. Fucking delete. I'm not doing that. You can't have 5 Super Bowl rings and not be in the top 5.
Yeah,
Top
that's
3.
Top 2.
That's insane.
Like, what
That's
the fuck
insane.
are we doing?
And
Is John Elway number 1? I mean,
And no,
was he the only one that
probably
didn't
make
have
my
him in the
3.
top 5?
was John Elway that mobile?
Yes.
No, he was.
He was that mobile? Like,
Like you said,
how
like,
much more mobile than he was
I would
in
say,
Montana?
different.
I would say he was more. I don't want to put him in that mold either, but kind of like Roethlisberger, where he would just if he needed to take a couple yards,
So-
he went for him.
John Elway reminds me
How
a
much
lot
more?
of Aaron Rodgers.
How much more
Or
mobile?
Rodgers,
Yeah,
like you said.
yeah.
How much more mobile was he than Montana?
More.
Yeah, he was.
More.
Montana was more of he was very shifty in the pocket.
He's like a Brady type of. He's more mobile than Brady, but a Brady type of mobile.
Is
Like,
he?
sidestep
How about we
type
put it
thing.
this way? Is the difference in mobility between him and Montana enough for Elway to be number 1 and Montana to be left off the list?
Not at all. Not at all. And if you're only grading purely on mobility, then you're not grading on the position itself. Because
the
it's
other
really
thing.
about,
Well, like
it's
he
about
said,
who throws footballs.
That's the other
Young
thing.
is like probably the most mobile person he has on that list.
right.
That's the other thing. He's like, I'm grading it as a defensive coordinator where these guys can hurt me with their feet. They're the hardest to scheme against. But what has that ever gotten anyone in the NFL?
Right. How many extremely mobile quarterbacks have a ton of rings?
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's the best guys aren't the most mobile ones.
Steve
Peyton,
Young.
the two.
Yeah, Steve
the
Young's
two,
the best example.
Right.
The 2 best. What people mostly put for the 2 best quarterbacks that we have, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, neither of them are mobile.
At least generationally speaking. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
Drew Brees, not a very mobile quarterback.
Mobile quarterback, right. Anyone that puts Michael Vick over
If you're
over
going
Drew
just
Brees,
our,
you're nuts.
if you're just going our generation, our best 3 quarterbacks are probably Brees, Manning, and Brady,
Right.
purely on legacy. And Rodgers is getting close, but purely on legacy, none of them are mobile.
Right.
No.
Rodgers is mobile. But
One's under fucking 6 feet tall.
Right, and even
And is a pocket quarterback.
Right.
Go
and
figure.
then you got a guy like two rings Eli Manning, predominantly pocket passer.
not mobile.
Not mobile. Ben Roethlisberger, ability to extend plays.
But I wouldn't call
not when
him mobile. He's not
quarterback.
outrunning anyone.
Right.
He's
No,
just big.
He's primarily pocket passer. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That he can, like you said, if play breaks down, he can move it around back there for sure. But also his mobility is based on his size. Like he's tough to bring down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like he's burning anybody. He's getting out there and then someone will drape off him and then
Matt
he'll shake
Ryan,
him. I mean,
MVP, not mobile.
Right.
No.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And Cam Newton, perennial loser, except for that 1 year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Michael Vick, ever been to a Super Bowl? NFC Championship once?
He's
Right?
been to the NFC Championship once.
Right. Doesn't win. You know what I mean? It doesn't get you very far. Steve Young, John Elway are probably the two most mobile, successful quarterbacks.
And John Elway,
in the era that
John
have
Elway,
seen.
when he won that second Super Bowl, was pretty much like Peyton Manning when he
Right.
won his second Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, the second one was...
The
He was done. Elway was done when he won his second Super Bowl.
yes and no.
The
I think
team wasn't on him; it was on Davis.
Yes and yeah and no. But I also think he
wasn't as bad as Manning was.
Manning is
was
never.
awful.
Manning's not going to dive into the end zone and get harpooned in the back
Right, yeah.
to win a Super Bowl.
Brady has done.
Right.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. Like
Right, yeah.
Elway had that mentality of
I
I'm finishing
personally
on.
think Dungy is sleeping on Brady's mobility.
He's a sneaky...
He didn't show. He didn't watch the highlight. He didn't watch Joe's highlight.
He didn't watch Joe's
He
highlight.
didn't watch him look Urlacher in the eyes and juke him out of his shoes.
Right.
And I guarantee if you played Tony Dungy, if he was like, all right, I made my list, they're like, hold on, Tony. I want to play something for you. And he plays the Brian Urlacher clip. You would he would go, all right,
breaks
Tom
the top
Brady's
five.
number one.
Breaks
He's number
top
one.
five.
I just watched him look Urlacher in the eyes and juke him out of his shoes.
Right, yeah.
And not flinch.
I saw him do the first down sign and dab after running for
yeah,
first down
yeah.
in Cleveland. Like his first game back, like look at my dab, and then gave it to him.
And
At
was it
how
the-
many years of age?
39.
What
yeah,
playoff
right?
game was it this year where he jumped into the end zone
against
on
the,
the run?
Chiefs and the
Was
AFC
it-
Championship?
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
And I would say Tom Brady's.
did we play the Chiefs? Was that who was the AFC Championship
Yes,
this year?
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Tom Brady's pocket presence.
Is unmatched.
Yeah. And if
Unmatched.
you're talking about mobility in the pocket,
Right. The internal clock for Tom Brady is nuts.
I know
Brady's the best
what he's
quarterback
trying
in
to
the
say.
world.
Like,
what are we arguing?
I know
Like, Tom
that-
Brady's the
You
best
guys aren't
quarterback in the
arguing with one another. I just want to point
We're
that out.
making-
And I'm not arguing with you. I'm
Right.
just.
we're not even arguing. We're agreeing with each other.
Yeah. We're
just comes off like you're arguing-
We're collectively arguing against Tony Dungy against one another.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Yeah, we're making the same
I
point.
just how does a guy as smart as Tony Dungy,
That's even to be questioned. I mean,
Think about it. He got to what? He never got to a Super Bowl in Tampa, right?
he won it in
no,
Indy.
the team.
No, but
that,
I'm saying
the team that Gruden
team that he let
took
go
was,
of
Yeah, was Dungy.
won the year after he left.
Right.
Yeah.
He went to
And you
Indy.
could say one of two things: either Gruden coached that team up, and Dungy didn't have the ability to, or Gruden reaped the benefits of Tony Dungy's roster.
No, he
a-
defensively he
Right,
did.
right, yeah.
Most definitely.
Right.
But
But didn't they switch the defense when Gruden went there to that Tampa
That's when they
2?
went to the Tampa 2, right? Yeah,
And that's what really carried them?
right.
Was that switch?
I
Or
believe so.
were they already
no,
running the Tampa
I thought
2?
that was already they were already running
Were they?
that. That was their shtick.
I thought that
Yeah.
was Gruden's thing.
I thought that was
Tampa
Gruden's thing
2.
too, but I could be wrong. I didn't pay that team much mind. You know?
Well, yeah, who is? I'm a Pats fan.
They also had like the fastest defensive tackle of all time.
Right, it's true. Adelius Thomas.
That's a callback. That's a callback.
That's a callback. You had to have been listening for a while to get that joke.
Yeah,
You
that
gotta-
is
you gotta
that's a
know that
deep callback. If you're just here for the Holley interview, you did not get that
one. You don't
joke.
get that joke.
Also, shame on you.
Right. Yeah, go back and fucking listen.
Shame on
Like,
you for
now
only
that-
coming for the Holly interview.
now
Oh,
that-
now because
yeah.
we made it. That's
Yeah, right. And Michael Holley's on. Right now we're superstars.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I need ride or dies.
Right. That's it. Yeah. Loyalty. I'm gonna
Hashtag take that for data.
I'm
If
gonna
you don't
be-
know that,
Yeah, I'm gonna
Shut
be-
it off
I'm going to
now.
be riding around like Rudy Gobert. Fucking these hoes ain't loyal. If they're not listening, that's it.
actually, don't shut it off now.
No.
Listen to the rest of this podcast.
Check out the rest of
then
them.
just go back and listen to the rest of them.
And then just listen to the rest of them forever.
Then when
That's
you
all we're
get
done.
when you go back to the beginning, when you finally get back to this podcast,
Right.
all these jokes
Fuck, I
now will be like,
fucking
oh,
get
I
it
get it
all.
now.
I
Those
get it
guys,
all.
these guys, they're great.
I've done it with shows that I really like. Went all the way back to the beginning.
And you
Just
should
to-
really like this one.
Right. What do you got for BalkTalk?
Rate, review, subscribe.
My BalkTalk. My BalkTalk is Ezekiel Elliott. Just can't keep himself out of trouble, man.
Right.
Like, come on, you got away from the whole situation. What was it on the float where you yank some chick's top off?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that.
You got away from that. Like he's been dodging, case after case, like he does.
That dude didn't dodge his fist though.
No, but so they suspended the assault charge.
Mm-hmm.
That there isn't enough witnesses right now, so they can't do anything about it.
Has nothing to do with the fact that he's a Dallas Cowboy and it happened in Dallas with Dallas PD. That doesn't seem fishy to anyone.
Not at all. Not at all.
And now they're just like, yeah, we're going to suspend it. Don't know what you're talking about. Never saw him punch anyone.
We'll check it out next spring.
My whole point is, how dumb can you be at this point?
Right, is it?
Like, you go to a nightclub and you get into a fight?
Yeah.
Like, a nightclub fight breaks out? Like, I thought this happened like 15 years ago, and everybody should have learned from it when fucking Puff Daddy did it and got away with it. You know what I mean? Like, and J-Lo got the fuck away from him after that.
Shine into jail.
Shine. Shout out to Shine.
Shine into jail.
Shine will be a future guest on this podcast, by the way.
But my point is, like, come on, man, just walk away.
Right.
Like, you got this much money coming to you, either smarten up or what. And then you have the exact opposite. You got Prescott that, like, doesn't do shit.
Right. He had the. Did he have a little?
He had a thing came out that he's not actually signing his own shit. He's using a machine. That was the only thing I heard of for Dak Prescott.
I thought he had a little college story too. I could be wrong.
But just to plug Joe's fantasy field goal, I mentioned the fact that Ezekiel Elliott is a risky pick now because no one knows what his suspension status is going to be.
Right.
It just keeps piling up. He got a speeding ticket too for like 100, doing 100. You just you got to learn. Get a driver and stop going to the clubs. I get it. You're 22 years old or whatever. Smarten up.
Just to add on to Aaron's BalkTalk as well, Deonta Foreman, who was drafted by the Texans, so another Texas running back.
Oh, there you go.
Got busted with weed and a gun in his car, and he hasn't even played it down yet. Complete rookie.
Yeah, he's getting cut.
They spent a pretty good draft pick on him, but
what high? How high?
I think he was a second or third round pick. I don't know. I don't think he'll get cut. He's pretty highly touted coming out of college, but that's a suspension he's going to eat. There's no doubt about that.
Dak Prescott had a DUI he was arrested for right after the draft.
Okay,
that's the worst.
But
thing.
since he got
partying, he's happy he got drafted.
No, and I'm not trying to brush over that little
get a
situation.
Driver.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Right.
Do you think he probably, now that he's the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys,
the
owner didn't say, hey, listen, I got a car, and everywhere you want to go, he will take you.
It amazes me how many of them get DUIs and shit like that.
His statement was pretty legit. Afterwards, he posted a note that he wrote on his phone and screenshotted it. It said, I want to make a statement and first take complete responsibility for my actions. I'm very remorseful for my misjudgment. I want to apologize to my true supporters, my family, Mississippi State University, and the NFL. The kids who look up to me, I won't ask for forgiveness. However, I'll show the true man I am and exhibit my character through my actions and behavior moving forward. I think that's the way you handle it.
There you go.
You eat it.
No, you don't. You
don't say like I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
You don't. Vaguely skate by a fucking assault charge.
Right.
Get it dropped, and then go out and yank some chick's top off on a float, then get that dropped, go get a speeding ticket, and then go get another assault charge in a nightclub. You stop after the first fucking thing.
Right, and Dak, like you said, and there's some, is it his signature, is it not? But that's not even like a crime or anything.
Who gives a fuck?
Who really cares? But that was the one. I knew there was something about him that popped up as some trouble. But that was that's a DUI. If that's the worst thing you do in this world, then you're doing all right.
It still amazes me how many of them get in trouble.
That is crazy, though. You're right. Like for the situation,
like Michael Floyd,
provided drivers.
Michael Floyd's was funny. Like
Michael Floyd's an alcoholic, but still, you could be an alcoholic. Just don't drive.
Right.
And he also that's the other thing. When we watch the video, it's like it sucks. Mm-hmm. It really does. But he wasn't violent. He wasn't belligerent.
Yeah.
He didn't they show the whole video of him. He's passed out. He wasn't.
He was asleep.
He's lucky he didn't get hurt or hurt somebody else.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Dave?
My BalkTalk is the fucking uproar for Gordon Hayward wearing number 20.
Good. Right. Good. Fuck Ray Allen.
What the fuck is the draw?
Who cares?
There's a lot of noise that Ray's number should be retired too.
Get the fuck out of here.
Why?
For what? 5-6 years with the team.
When I think of Ray Allen, yeah, sure, I think about the Celtics, but I would probably think if any number of his is going to get retired, it would be Seattle, right?
34 Seattle, right? That's the one. And
I
know he won a
now it wouldn't
championship
be in
with Boston.
Seattle; it would be in OKC.
OKC, right?
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
even think they even carry that shit around, do they?
They do, yeah. That
they still
that
represent
moves.
the Seattle.
Yeah. That thing moves. But they still wear. I think they wore a Sonics throwback jersey this year.
Really?
As like one of their throwback nights.
That's
or whatever.
cool.
Yeah,
get a team in Seattle.
Yeah, really. That's a good.
No, they're
sports
saying
town.
they want it back and they want to bring back the Supersonics.
Yeah,
they
that's a
should.
good
The
sports town.
Supersonics were cool as fuck.
You can get rid of the Sacramento Kings and move.
Just
the
move
Seattle
them.
Supersonics.
That's
Just
not
move
even
them,
that big of a move.
Right. That's
It's
what
on
I'm
the
saying.
same coast.
Same coast.
Just drive up.
Whatever.
Sacramento's Northern California. I mean, you're practically, a rock star away from Seattle at that point.
Right. That, to me, it just makes more sense. Is Sacramento Kings selling out fucking arenas any night? No. You know what I mean? No one cares about the Kings, really. So, even though I do like that team as a young, up-and-coming team, potentially, but...
Well, it's a perfect time to move them to Seattle.
Right. Yeah, really. Yeah, right. I'm with you there.
Or the Jazz.
Or... I guess you could expand... or the Jazz. I guess you could expand, but that's against everything I think about the NBA.
Then you'd have to add two.
Add two.
No, not if you're hockey.
Not if you're hockey.
If you're
That's
hockey,
my point. You guys all
one.
hate having one team added.
It always really bothers me.
It used to be that way in baseball, too.
31?
No.
29?
There was more teams in one league than the other.
Yeah.
When the Astros moved.
Yeah, the Astros moved to the AL now.
That's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
It was like 16 and 14.
You got to balance out.
No, I think there was more. Wasn't there more in the National League?
Right. That's
and then they moved
the Astros,
to the AL now.
Yeah. So it's like 16 to 14.
That was recent, too. That was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
You got to balance out the conferences.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because how could you say
no, it's easier. It's technically mathematically easier.
Right. you could be. Let's see. There's 8 teams that make the playoffs. Let's say a 30-team league. Not in baseball, but for example.
How many do make it? 6?
6. 2 wild cards. No, 5. 3 divisions, 2 wild cards.
But the wild cards
have
play
a one-game
each other.
play-in,
Yeah.
so then there's 4. Right. So imagine that. Imagine if you're in the AL, you have 14 teams. You have a fucking 5 and 14 chance. You have a 33% chance or better than to make the playoffs. And in the NL, you would have less than a 33% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's dumb.
That's fucking crazy.
So to go back to the real point, there is no conversation here. Who gives a shit? Give him his number.
Is this like just the...
Isn't that his number? Doesn't he normally wear 20?
He wore 20 in Utah.
Okay.
Is this just like a small group of people
Like
who
a
are
loud
being
minority.
really loud? Yeah.
Maybe. Could be. I don't know.
But do you think the vast majority of Celtics fans don't give a fuck about Ray Allen?
I think that, I would say the majority of Celtics fan feel like a woman scorned when it comes to
Yeah,
Ray
when he
Allen.
went to... You go to Miami
Right.
with LeBron.
Right.
Come on.
Right. So, and I think most people feel that way, but there's just, I've heard enough of it, and we're to the point where it's like becoming Twitter polls and stuff like, should Gordon Hayward wear number 20? I'm like,
Yes.
He went,
yes, he should.
He went to UConn. I get
How
the whole
happy are you that you have
hometown
Gordon
kid.
Hayward?
But
Why would you not give him what he wants?
Right. And the thing is and I'm not doing this. I'm not saying Glenn Davis was a better player than Ray Allen, but Glenn Davis
was a better player. No.
Contributed more years, has the same amount of rings, same amount of finals appearances, more playoff games than Ray Allen as a Celtic.
And he's a fat piggy fuckface.
He's a fat piggy fuckface. You could make the argument, what are we going to do with 11? Because he did more for the Celtics. Now, Ray Allen played better in those games. You know what I mean? He broke the all-time finals, single game record, that stuff. But as a guy that doesn't like Glenn Davis as a player, I would say that Glenn Davis commit more of what the Celtics, legacy-wise. You know what I mean? He played there more. He played more games for the Boston Celtics. I don't know if there's more overall games because he didn't start a lot or whatever, but he was there more. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. It's fucking odd. Ray Allen had 5 years. Thanks for the cup of coffee. Thanks for the championship. 5-6 years, whatever it was.
What did Glenn Davis wear?
He wore 11?
11, right?
His jersey actually didn't have a number on it. It just had a picture of steak.
It was the crying Jordan face.
Now Tatum.
There's a picture
Tatum
of a
has
pig.
since changed his number.
He's now 0.
He's now 0.
So
Since
the 7-Eleven
the trade,
dynamic.
he is
why
now
would he
0.
lie?
I know. That's a bummer.
Yeah, no,
it's a real bummer.
Now
And
you
see-
now Al Horford's like, hey guys, I still need 42 on
Wait,
pump
so
5.
what
please.
is what is Jalen Brown's number?
7?
So,
You're 7-0?
you need. You're so close to 007. Why would he not change it to 00?
It's retired.
Oh well,
The Celtics.
fucking Celtics.
Right. Everything's retired. Yeah.
00 of anything.
I'm surprised that 7 isn't retired. Oh, Havlicek was 17.
You're so close to 007.
Right.
And that would be a great one. License to Kill.
Jaylen Brown should change his number to 07.
Yeah, there you go. That's a cool thing to do with jerseys, though. Right. Which is kind of like other cool things they're doing with jerseys.
Right. And that's coming up in my Not Mad at It. Nice segue.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
It's actually, I'm not even mad. It's amazing.
Oh, I like that.
That's what we call a pro segue there.
We're getting really good at fucking...
I'm going to start pulling up in Aaron's apartment on a segue.
On a segue, that's the way to do it. Getting up those stairs is going to be
call me Segway Joe.
No, there's a fucking elevator.
There's an elevator.
You can just take the Segway all the way up.
Exactly. Never getting off a Segway. I'm going to build a flat part so I can segue into my car.
Right.
Because you can fit a Segway in a Sonata, right?
I don't.
That's standing up, but you can at least get it in there.
If I cut a hole in the top of it, though, I do have a sunroof.
So you just cut one little notch out. It's
so
like a T-top. You just cut out one side.
I don't know how I'm going to hit the gas pedal, but we'll come to that when it matters.
I have two things to say.
Hand throttle.
Two things to say right now. One, you don't need a car if you got a Segway.
No,
and two,
that's where you're mistaken.
And two,
you ever seen how fast those things go?
We're destroying.
You've ruined the Segway. Okay?
Well, that's the whole point of a Segway.
What the fuck we were talking about?
Great jerseys in the NBA.
Great jerseys in the NBA. Nike has taken over as the jerseys provider for the National Basketball Association.
That happened a couple years ago, or did it just happen
this year? They got the deal a couple years ago.
Oh, but it's actually going into.
They had Adidas for the longest time.
Yeah. They are getting rid of the home and away jerseys, which some people don't like because they're old and stuck in their ways. But
those same people don't want 07.
Right.
I'm okay with it. I'll live with it.
Yeah, but the idea that I do like is that they're going to have four alternative colorways for the uniforms. 2 will be dark color based and 2 will be light colored based, and the home team gets to pick which of the 4 they want to wear. So they could wear a light one at home or wear a dark one at home one night. Each night's different. The home team gets to pick, and then the opposing team gets to choose of the 2 contrasting colorways.
See, I really like what the NBA does with jerseys. They have so many different alternate jerseys.
Right. The sleeves, non-sleeves.
And it makes it cool. I just think it's cooler that way. And I like that the NFL is kind of getting involved in that.
With the Color Rush jerseys.
Color Rush jerseys, I know a lot of people don't like the Color Rush jerseys.
I like the Patriots ones a lot.
The Patriots ones look fucking awesome.
Dope. And I don't know if that's a homer bias.
I really, really, really really wanted a Matthew Slater Color Rush jersey. Turns out Matt Slater is not popular enough to have his own Color Rush jersey, so you'd have to buy a Patriots Color Rush jersey and customize it, which is like only a difference between an $80 jersey and a fucking $250-something jersey. So instead, I got an Edelman the red alternate jersey.
Nice,
but
the red ones are nice. But like the Bills,
but they have a red alternate jersey.
Looks like the Patriots red alternates.
Yeah.
There
are some ones that are cool though, like
I like the Seahawks ones.
Seahawks are like highlighter green, then who has gold? Is it the Raiders?
The gold one is that the Steelers?
Steelers have like bright yellow. One has like
San Fran, maybe.
One has like a gold color.
Might be the Rams.
It might be the Rams. Do you see the Rams are changing though? They're gonna go back to blue and white.
Yeah, they're blue and white. Yeah, they're. Oh yeah, no, I was thinking of the LA Chargers logo, which is the fucking LA Dodgers logo. But
no, the Rams are changing. Yeah, but the Rams are changing that color back to blue and white, and not blue and gold.
The Nike uniforms also look fucking dope.
Have they released the new basketball uniforms?
Yeah. There's some.
The Celtics are just the Celtics uniforms.
They look nice. They're sharp. They have an all black one with the black shorts. It's really nice, really, really dope. They're kind of metallic
with
green, yeah, like green writing, green trim
border.
Yeah,
I would guess they have an all white.
They have all white,
an all green,
an all green,
an all black,
and then they have like the white and green. They have like the green and the green.
I think
like
they
the
should
one
do
they have
gray.
Now. I like their sleeved gray ones.
Yeah,
have
I
you
do
seen
too.
Those? Yeah, those are nice. I like
also,
those
I'm kind of a fan of the Summer League jerseys.
Those are cool too.
Yeah,
those are cool too. Yeah. What'd you think of the Summer League?
It was good. I wish the Celtics hadn't punted at the end.
Right, yeah, me too. Yeah,
because I
wanted to win that thing.
I don't think it matters, but I'm really sick about hearing how great Lonzo Ball is just because he won Summer League.
You didn't hear they threw a parade for him and everything.
It's awful. just like, oh, Lonzo Ball is the greatest player ever. These Laker fans are like, oh, that's it. We're in the finals. We're in the finals. We got Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, no, that's what,
your team is still bad.
Right. Yeah.
You got one player.
Really.
And we don't even know how good he's going to be. He still has a fucked up shot mechanic. His shot looks weird.
It's really weird looking. Yeah, you're right about that. So what do you got? Joe, Aaron, whatever. Whoever's got a box.
Well, I kind of mentioned mine a little bit. The Red Sox released third baseman Pablo Sandoval.
Yes.
Let's throw a parade to run him out of town.
Yes.
Kung Fu Panda. He has movies about him, so he's probably making money off that. I mean,
that's probably true.
Yeah.
A
long-running movie series.
That was the one thing I kind of wanted to ask Holley about, but I was like, I didn't want to interrupt him about it. It feels like the Red Sox, they pay because they can to get free agents to come here. But it seems like most of them, when they come here, they don't like it here. And they never buy into anything. They get overpaid, they don't buy into anything, and they don't care.
Right. David Price, Pablo Sandoval,
Yeah.
Hanley Ramirez. Like, the past few years of their acquisitions has been like, ooh, man.
These off-white color ones are dope.
Right? I showed Joe a picture of the potential. They said they're still concepts, but they're leaning towards them because they have ones for every single team. So it's not like just the phony.
So what's the whole point of the New Jerseys? What are they going to do?
It's like an off-white, almost like an eggshell.
So what are they going to do? It's like it looks like something like it's old.
I like it.
It's kind of like,
or it's been washed like one too many times.
I would like gray, though.
Yeah.
I would like a gray. I like the all blacks, and I like the green and golds.
Yeah, well, I have a green and gold.
Although you said 4 alternates,
there's
that's
5 there.
Yeah,
but I wonder if it's 4 alternates.
No,
like you have a jersey.
I think
like
the
standard jersey,
the standard green or the standard
I think
white.
the golds for St. Patrick's Day, like they always, whatever they always do.
Yeah, because the Heat have like Latino night or something like that.
Yeah.
I have like El Heat or something like that.
I have a pure Celtics jersey from St. Patty's Day 2006.
Yeah. But you see, like, the green and white, that's like their traditional jersey type. So they're probably those within 4 alternates. So that could be your traditional, and then you could choose the white or the off-white or the black or the green and gold.
They should always pick the off-white.
I like those jerseys a lot. I don't really know what the point is of it. I think it's just to get, probably more jersey sales, because there's different types of jerseys to sell. You know what I mean? As opposed to just, like, green and white. And then, other than the special
I almost bought a Rondo black jersey.
Yeah.
Because they did have those back when he was on the team.
Yep.
And I was like, I just bought a regular one.
Right.
And now I'm just regretting ever buying one.
I saw...
Speak for yourself.
I saw someone...
It's one of my favorite jerseys.
I went to Philadelphia on a road trip to go see Mac Miller in concert in the basement of a church.
How'd that go?
Nice.
It was fine, actually. And there was a kid there that had a Rondo high school jersey on.
Oh.
He played for... It's a really good high school. I can't think of the name of it. Like, it's really well known. I think Mello went there, and I wish I could remember it. But he had that kid's jersey, like Rondo's high school jersey. Yeah, it was cool. I was like, how the fuck did you get that?
That's cool. Yeah. But so what do you got? So the Red Sox acquisitions. To get back to your BalkTalk, or you're not mad at it. Sorry.
They got rid of Pablo.
They got rid of Pablo. I'm happy about that. And they need to get a third baseman. I think they have Lynn playing third base right now.
Lynn and Marrero. I think
and they got a rotation.
Yeah.
They need to pick up a third baseman.
Manny Machado.
Louisville's Eastern High School.
Oh, that sounds right.
That's where he went.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But you're not mad at it, Joe?
My not mad at it is back to the Celtics.
Sorry, Oak Hill Academy.
That's it.
That's the one.
There you go. He had an Oak Hill Academy Rondo jersey. My not mad at it is back to the Celtics. They signed Paul Pierce so he could retire a Celtic.
I'm not mad at that.
He went, actually put on all the gear, went and worked out, and then, okay, I'm signing, I'm retiring.
It's like the quintessential I'm not mad at it. Yeah, I'm glad they ran him through a physical just to make sure.
Just to make sure. Did you see that?
Imagine if he failed it and they were just like, yeah, I can't do it.
Can't do it, sorry.
Go retire a Clipper.
You got to pass a physical. Did you see the shoes that he put on was a set of Paul Pierce Nike shoes that they made that they never released, and the trainer kept, or the equipment manager kept them at the practice facility just in case.
Someone needs to release those.
Did you see them? The snake. It has a snake on the laces.
No, I didn't see that.
I don't really get the snake thing. That would have been doper for Black Mamba, but
listen,
they're pretty cool. But it's a cool story because they've been there for years since he left.
Yeah.
And they've kept him at the practice facility just in case he was able to sign it. So
what's the deal? Are they going to retire his number? Like
they have to.
No, they already pretty much said they're going to.
Yeah, they're going to. Yeah.
They retire everyone's number, though.
Yeah.
That's why we can't have 007. This is why we can't have nice things.
I'm telling you, 0.
I'm okay with their
07.
No.
That's it.
Don't
Zero.
want
Aaron,
that.
we can't have cool nicknames because someone retired 00.
Right.
Okay. He didn't have to switch his number either.
I mean, true. Fault does start with him changing his number.
Yeah, why did he...
I don't know what the angle is there. I don't know.
I'm really upset about this. If I could go back and make my BalkTalk the fact that he changed away from 7-Eleven after they started a whole Twitter marketing campaign.
And we did the whole fucking Al Horford gets $42 on Pump 5.
Maybe 7-Eleven was like, yeah, guys, you can't do that.
It's like come to find out that Cumberland Farms is the sponsor of Boston Celtics or something like that.
We can't let you guys. That actually probably makes sense. I bet you Cumberland Farms is the sponsor for Boston Celtics.
What do we just do here?
Yeah.
That's Tandy's like, this is a marketing nightmare.
But anyway, Paul Pierce deserves to be retired as a Celtic.
Absolutely. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, this is the quintessential I'm not mad at it. It's like what we created this segment for.
This
like,
happened, and I'm not mad.
We did it, and we were just like, in a couple months, Paul Pierce is going to retire as Celtic, so we need a segment dedicated for that.
When that day happens.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking earlier, speaking of Celtics retirement numbers and whatnot, Ray Allen's a no.
Hell no.
Right? Paul Pierce is a yeah.
Yes.
KG.
No.
I love KG so much.
Here's how I can word it best. I would never campaign for him to get his jersey retired by the Celtics.
But I wouldn't be mad at it.
But I would not be mad. If they did, I'd be like, yeah, sure, right.
I have a deep personal love for Kevin Garnett.
I do too.
I just have a feeling of it doesn't matter to me that he gets his number.
You think that, but I want you to go on YouTube and I want you to watch a montage of him blocking shots after the whistle so that they don't go in the hoop.
Unreal.
And if you do,
I remember watching that while he was on the team.
No, but you have to watch the montage.
It's like the Brian Urlacher highlight.
Yeah.
Like you do that, it changes your.
It changes your just like this guy needs to be retired forever.
I think he should definitely have his number retired in Minnesota.
I think I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah,
there was.
They may have already done that. Yeah, that's for sure.
There was a period of time where he was the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Right.
He still is.
He works for that fan. Does he work for them?
I think he's.
Now I think he's just doing the TNT thing.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the Area 21.
Because he was like a player.
I think he goes
team,
and works out with guys still.
Well, he was on the roster, but he wasn't actually like he barely played. He was more of like a
But I think that they had a thing where he goes and he like practices with like Karl Anthony Towns and works with him and stuff or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. As a Celtic, I'm not against. If they did it, I'm like, oh, that's malarkey. Like if they did Ray Allen's, I would not be into it. KG had an extra 2 or 3 years after Ray left. It's
guys who buy in.
He left. He bought all in. He represented everything that the Celtics were before.
Yeah,
brought that mystique back. Paul is a big reason for that too. Like he was one of those guys, but Kevin, there was a different air Celtics fans were breathing when KG came to the Celtics. Like it was different.
It's guys. My favorite Celtics are always the guy, or not even just Celtics. My favorite Boston athletes are always the guys you can tell, like bought in.
Right.
Always the guys that are just like I enjoy
Isaiah Thomas
here.
Right now.
Isaiah Thomas is quickly moving up that list, even though I don't want him here.
Right.
I was never a huge Roger Clemens guy, even when he was here, because I feel like he was on to the next one. It wasn't like he was bought into the Red Sox. You know what I mean? He was just like whatever.
Right.
But like, that's why I'm a Pedroia guy, because I feel like he genuinely likes the Red Sox.
Right.
Not like. David Price could go out there, have a monster season for the rest of the time he's on the Red Sox. I just would never feel like he actually liked it here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's the same thing with like Pablo. Go back to yours. Like it's that guy never gave a shit about the Red Sox. Ortiz bought in. Right. Yeah.
And you know who else kind of seems like he's buying in a little is Hanley.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Well, he already had
He wavers back and forth with me.
Yeah,
there are times where I think he's like really into like the Red Sox, and then there's times where
after last night it was all my team this, my team that. It was very
because he feels good, and they're telling him like, hey, you're playing better,
right?
Whatever. That's what he wants. He wants to be coddled
He
by
needs
the
to be
Boston,
stroked,
and it's not going to happen in Boston.
Right.
You either play well or you don't.
I think Edelman bought in.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a lot of questions about his health.
Right.
When
Right now?
No.
Oh.
Right,
Remember
coming up,
when Welker was... When we were like...
Can we count on this guy?
Is this going to work? Like, he's physically able, but will his body hold up
And that's
for
when
it?
Edelman passed Welker as the guy that Patriots guys do
Right.
that with. Because to me, Welker leaving, especially after we find out the Pats offered him
More money.
is just like you don't buy in.
And Welker, to me, was one of those guys that I didn't think bought in. Like,
No, I don't think he...
At the end, I think he definitely was soured by
I think he was good, and him and Brady were tight.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he ever was really
I
like...
think Belichick pissed him off,
Yeah.
and that was it. He was like, I'm done with this.
I mean,
team.
there's on that.
Revis never bought in.
Right. I think he bought in play-wise, but I think he knew this was a
he knew it was a
he
one-year
knew he
deal.
wasn't staying here.
He
Yeah.
knew it was a one-year deal.
I would say that for a guy that knew he was going to be gone come that February, you know what I mean? Like, the Super Bowl's over, like, okay, well, thanks. I will give that guy credit for
Like, I thought-
committing as much effort to that team.
I thought Randy Moss was gonna buy in.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah, he did and then didn't.
Yeah,
Like, right
he
away.
quickly,
Like,
he quickly sold.
didn't.
He
Yeah.
bought in. He was like, I don't know how I feel about this company anymore, and he sold.
Right. He's like, I just don't think they want me here anymore. And
Which
that whole
wasn't
thing was
true.
like, I was like, whoa, what are you doing? As soon as he did that press conference, I went home like,
He's gone.
he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. Or I knew it. I fucking knew that. That sucks because he was so good for them.
Yeah.
And then you watch him. And then you watch him in Tennessee. Remember the Pats had to play him.
Yeah.
A couple weeks later,
He went to
shortly
Tennessee, and then he went back to Minnesota.
No.
Went to Tennessee.
No, went
and
to Tennessee, went to San Fran, then went to
then,
Minnesota.
San Fran, then Minnesota. Yep.
And I feel like he could have played more seasons.
Have you seen,
if he would have stayed.
Did you see the picture of him? Him with the Washington wide receivers, which is basically
Terrell Pryor, Josh Doxson,
yeah, and he is cut.
Jamison Crowder.
No,
The
it's just I think Crowder and
Crowder and Pryor.
Yeah, and he's standing there, and him and I didn't realize. I mean, I
Pryor's
know Pryor's tall,
Yeah.
but they're about the same size.
Yeah.
Crowder's tiny.
And Crowder's tiny.
Yeah.
Right.
When you look at him stand next to him, you're like, how is he not still in the NFL?
Right.
Physically, like I get it,
I
his
think he
knees
could-
might still bother him, but like
I don't think he would still be playing, but he could have played longer than he did if he
Right.
would have
He
stayed with the
looks
Pats.
fucking
If he stayed with the Pats, he would have been productive longer.
I love when he interviewed Brady before the Super Bowl. I don't know if it was the 14 or 16 one.
I think it was the 14.
14, and he was like, do you miss me? Like, just like that's how he started it out. Or when Tom's like, of course I miss you, man. Like, you're great. You're one of the best receivers I've ever played with. And that's what he was like, will you have me back? And then he was like, I don't make those calls. Or, you know what I mean? But you could tell, I think Moss knew, especially when he went back to, when he left San Fran.
Yeah.
He did that interview saying, like,
I fucked it up.
he fucked up. Yeah, like he knew it. Like,
Didn't he say I
always
ruined
you
a
always
good
take-
thing or
I
something?
ruined a good thing, and you never know what you got till it's gone, kind of thing. Like he let his financial situation get in the way of his success.
When he got upset with the Pats, wasn't the famous thing like Brady should cut his hair? Remember that was when Brady was rocking like the really long hair.
I love that look, by the way.
That was an awful look.
You didn't like it?
No,
I loved
you
it.
seen him without his hat on lately?
It was one of the few times I ever questioned whether Brady was actually the GOAT or not. It was like,
Really?
I don't, that haircut
I
is
love
really
that hair.
ungoat-like.
I really like that hair.
No, he
I
looked.
liked
It was like it wasn't like cool long hair. It was like
best-
feminine long hair.
Yeah, I mean that's a fine line. But like when he was mad on the sideline and he throws the cup.
Clay Matthews, cool long hair.
See, I think that yeah.
Brady,
Because Brady's is like
Brady's
it's
is
like done.
like-
Yeah. He had like long hair that was like done.
It was
like
feathered.
He's
Right,
like
let's be honest.
a shower away from a Garnier Fructis commercial with that long hair that he had.
So that's all I got for not mad at it for me.
You know,
for you.
let's move it on to the closing
Let's do it.
time, gentlemen.
Closing
Closing time.
It's closing time, nerds.
All right. Well, my closing time is a man, a myth, a legend, a podcast that we've mentioned several times before. Chadizzle Davis.
Apparently, he doesn't like me at all.
That's not the thing.
That's what
That's
I've heard.
not the
This
thing.
through the grapevine. It was just
He
like,
said-
hey, you guys can come, but can you leave that other guy away?
He never said that. I asked him, I said, what do you want to do? He just said it's going to be a tight squeeze because it's all on one couch.
So he was like, make sure you leave Joe at home.
So I think it's like he has the tie with Aaron and I. You know what I mean? So I think it makes sense.
He hates me. Yeah, I get what you're going with.
No. Jadizzle has been nice enough, and we have an opportunity here where we're going to cross over. We're going to do a joint podcast. We're going to go on his show, Pass the F and Popcorn. And Aaron is hinting right now that the NWO is going to invade the Pass the F and Popcorn.
The BSN?
Yeah, the BSN. Yeah, the BSN. We are going to go do a joint podcast. We're going to go to Chad's recording area.
A dual cast?
A dual cast. We will release the episode
DUAL.
on...
They're not going to duel.
No,
It might never know.
There's no telling.
I might have upset them today.
Right, it might, yeah.
I sent some pretty provocative gifts at them.
And he was like, hey, like, take it down one.
Why am I being punished for this?
You know.
You never know.
Make sure you leave that Gremlin Joe at home if you're going to come to the Pass Effing podcast.
It is not a personal slight at all. I guarantee you that. Chad would love to have you. But I told him I'm not bringing Joe.
To be honest, in August, he's having the live show at
I don't know shit about what you guys are going to talk about anyway, so it's probably for the best that I sit this one out.
That's what we figured. But also, we can go to the live one.
And then just take that over,
and then we might take that one fucking over. Who knows? But
just have that music ready. That's
right.
all I'm saying.
I'm ready.
Get it queued up. Talk to Ryan. Right? And have that figured out. Be like, hey, I know
we'll bring all the equipment. We'll sit it down.
So I know you got some comics hookups here. Play this. Just hand him the CD. Like, hey, put this.
Hi,
on.
welcome to welcome to the live version of the Boston Sports. Guys, we're doing a show.
We're doing a show here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Chad, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Who are these people?
We told you this was Boston Sports Nerds.
Welcome to the first live episode of the Boston Sports Nerds podcast, everyone. My name is Dave. I'm accompanied by my two fellow nerds, Aaron and Joe.
We're doing a show, Dave.
Yeah, Aaron and Joe, how are you?
Dave,
Aaron and Joe.
This is the Pass the Popcorn. We're passing the effing popcorn.
Aaron and Joe, how are you?
Dave.
All right, so let's get into BalkTalk.
Dave, kind of a live show going on.
So I'm excited to go on. We've talked a lot over the past few weeks just about, we went to the first live show with him. It was the first one I've ever experienced, and kind of took some notes as to how he does things. He's got a really, really good following, and I'm excited to go on his show and kind of expand our audience a little bit there so they can check us out, and also you guys can finally hear the sweet tone of Pass the F and Popcorn. We're going to be reviewing Glow.
I believe so.
I'm going to do a Glow review, and I don't know what other fucking chaos might ensue that night, but we're going to take that podcast over.
Yeah, no, I'm bringing spray paint.
They don't. I'm bringing spray paint. Couch.
And that's for huffing. It's not even for spray painting.
Right. I'm going to get really high first.
That's how you guys take over a podcast.
Just get so high.
Just huff the shit out of some spray paint, and then
that'll do it.
Play some takeover music and.
Right. Because that's what Holley really wants to promote, guys.
Are you gonna rip your tank top?
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah, you got to.
I'm coming in.
Yeah,
I'm coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
Do they video this? Is it a video?
It's live.
It's a Facebook live stream.
Nice.
So you get to watch me shirtless.
Right. He's going to just go shirtless.
You don't make a promise you can't keep, Aaron.
I'm calling dibs next to the other side of the couch, wherever that is. I don't want it to be
Aaron ruined his shirt before he even started, so...
I don't want it to be like Liz, Chad, me, you, and then just be scrunched between a shirtless Aaron and then the host Chad, just like...
Now I'm feeling real good about sitting this one out, yeah.
Don't go. Yeah. Believe me, don't go.
I'll oil up. I'll get like a professional wrestler.
There we go.
I'll put water in my hair, pull my hair back.
Slick it back. No,
put some oil on.
We are doing that next week.
Yeah,
right? Is that
Tuesday, I believe.
Next Tuesday. So that'll be on Facebook Live.
It's going to be a busy podcast week for you.
It is. We got a double dip. Next week.
And then Wednesday, back at it.
Wednesday, back at it here, and then maybe next Sunday.
Yeah.
This Sunday?
Yeah.
Not this Sunday, but next for.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, so
this is your closing
the WECP. the heels of podcasting.
It had its inaugural episode.
Yeah, we had our first episode. We
surprised the shit out of me. Just logged. I was like, "Oh, we have a new.
There's a new show.
Oh, totally.
We have a new
show.
BS Nerd show. What's going on? I didn't record anything.
Kept some things under wraps.
Yeah.
And,
no editing, no nothing. It was just like, let's record it and go.
No music, no outro, nothing. Just Aaron starting it off hot.
You should have called it episode 0.
That's a good fucking.
No, maybe
07.
maybe 00, and then we can get to, when we get to 7, they can touch.
Right, 007.
Yeah, you'll just play the whole 00 first, and then go right into 7.
Yeah.
It'll be like a
just like skip
2-day long podcast.
Skip 0 through 6,
right,
and then
play
start.
00, then 7, and then yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna do. We're just gonna do reviews about anything.
They did a Glow review already.
We did a Glow review, and we also talked a lot about wrestling. We also segued into like being excited for Black Panther, about how that's going to be coming out soon. And that's what we're going to do. We're gonna hit on wrestling. We're gonna hit on entertainment. Which hey, what did I watch this week? What am I intrigued on that's coming out soon, moving wise? And you can touch those. You can kind of mix those two with the movie and the comics.
Right.
So that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to talk about it. Yeah, and then we're going to do, possibly a little segment, hey, what did you get on a run this week? What did you buy? I heard there was some outlandish spending on a...
He's got a lot of explaining to
do. On Pro Wrestling Tees had a sale. If you bought X amount, you could get 40% off.
$7 billion.
I believe my co-host, Jerry, spent... easily 3 figures on T-shirts.
Jesus Christ!
So he will have some explaining to do on our next podcast. We're gonna do it bi-weekly, just so we don't, get stale with the wrestling. We want to do some. We'll talk about like what's going on in wrestling, or we can review like just an episode of ECW or whatever.
What I like about I'm sorry not to cut you off, but what I like about the bi-weekly schedule is that wrestling's pay-per-views are almost on a bi-weekly schedule.
Yeah,
too.
at this point, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
we can kind of do it on that,
right? Whether you fall in the week of or after.
I figured the week after. That way you can review it.
Right.
We're gonna do them. We're gonna probably put them out, record them on Sunday, so that way at least you'll be able to. You'll get it in there for the beginning of the week.
Right. That Monday morning commute.
Yeah.
Get that little in.
Pop it in there. Try to keep it under an hour and a half.
I would say 2 things about the podcast. Anyone that is on Patreon, which is 0 people right now, so I'm talking to a very empty room. But any Patreon member starting now, you can go back and listen. We interviewed Jerry, Aaron's co-host, on this a few episodes back, and they talked about doing the show.
Oh yeah, behind the scenes shit.
Behind the scenes stuff. There's bonus content,
which is
again,
on
patreon.com/bsnerds.
As a director's cut.
As a director's cut, you could have gotten a peek behind the curtain a few weeks back and seen that there may have been this new show coming on.
You could have heard our recruitment of Jerry,
which was this hard sell. I know it was a good pitch.
Yeah,
you know what? You guys didn't give that to Michael. You didn't try to bring him in. Bring him into the family.
I think
do you want it? You know what?
A once a week thing? Once a month thing?
His contract with WEEI is up in a couple of years. That's when you
once a month. When you just bring him in.
You gotta wait.
We need to find exact details on the contract.
I tried earlier today.
Did you?
It's not as easy as you think.
All right, what do you think about coming to the Boston Sports Nerds? Yeah. You know what? Would have been a great follow-up with your question on what's next for Michael Holley.
Yeah. Are you going to become a podcaster with us?
Yeah.
Full circle.
Next time he comes on, I like it. So I would say for the podcast, I was lucky enough to be here for the first one, episode 00.
Yeah, what you doing here, Dave?
I kind of just live here. Like I just sort of hang around.
He just pops in when he wants to.
Sneaky Ronan.
Guys, my podcast sense was going off. Is something going on over here?
I spoke with Jerry about getting the podcast going, and Aaron, and we've been talking, and so I came over to kind of help him get started. You know what I mean? Like say they using Audacity for the first time, stuff like that. So I came show him the ropes a little bit, and I just sat around and listened, check out what the show was like, and it was good. I would say you guys put the nerds in BS Nerds, and it's a good format for that because it's like you guys bring it's a compliment.
Yeah.
Like you guys bring the nerd culture out, which is really
we go to cons. Jerry and I, we've been to New York Comic Con, been to a bunch of cons in Connecticut, been to the Rhode Island Comic Con. So we do get around to the con circuit and get to see the cool stuff.
Yeah. So I'm pumped, and it's just one more reason. If you were surprised by this podcast, if you're interested in learning about Jerry, whatever, go on patreon.com/BSNerds, sign up, $1 a month, and you get all access. Find out everything, because we're always working on something new. And I'm sure there's some other things that were mentioned in bonus content that didn't make it to the normal airwaves that will probably come to fruition at some point. So
yes, sir.
always be on the lookout. You know, if you want to be ahead of the curve here, that's the way to do it.
Back up the Brinks truck.
Back it up.
We do have a lot of like on-air business meetings a lot of times.
We do, yeah. We have
just like, hey, you want to hash this out on air? And then we cut it out anyway. But if you become a Patreon subscriber, you get to hear all that stuff.
Right.
Let's do this.
I'm sure Dave's going to cut out some stuff that we were talking about really badly before Holley called.
Yeah, right.
It's
just complete nonsense.
There's a possibility next week I might have a hat review.
Yeah,
I might have a hat review next week.
Is this
it's a possibility.
Right.
I'm not going to say yes or no because I don't want to.
Right. We're not going to guarantee anything.
I don't want it to show up late and then we're sitting here going, hey, let's talk for 10 minutes. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Figure it out until they call.
This hat is 8 minutes.
This is Hat Talk with Aaron. Holiday.
Yeah. So there might be a hat review next week.
I like that. So yeah, there's and also, what was I going to say? Oh, the content. Yeah, that's extra content each week. So the Holley interview we're going to pretty much leave alone, except for the beginning segment. I figured we'll keep that just for whatever, it's unedited. It's the director's cut.
But then also release just the interview,
right? But then there'll be a cleaned up version that'll just be, if you're just give a shit about Michael Holley being on here and you don't truly care about us. First off, that hurts my feelings. Second,
go back and listen to the old episodes. Review, subscribe, all that.
Yeah, do that whole thing. So there will be
only positive reviews. I don't want negative reviews.
We got 2 more 5-star reviews on iTunes.
Did they hashtag take that for data?
No, I want any reviews at all. Bring it on. I want to hear what you don't like about me, what you like about me. Right. Bring it on. I want to hear.
So here's the rule.
Just talk bad about Aaron. You don't
have
to talk about Joe or Dave.
If you're going to leave a bad review, still give it 5 stars.
Right, yeah, just tell me.
Tear us apart in the word part.
Yeah, just let me know.
You guys fucking suck. Hate this podcast. Right. Don't like any reviews.
Right.
And it would be better if Michael Holley just talked the whole time. 5 stars.
Right.
But 5 stars. That's
keep
really
it 5s.
Yeah.
Right. Hashtag Dork's going through a thing like that where a guy left a 2-star review.
He took it off.
Oh,
he backed down to it.
He backed down. Or whatever his name was. Yeah,
he backed down.
Yeah. Nice.
He took it off.
Coward. They sicked like the Dork fucking fan base on him at Twitter.
Off.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what
he's
do you
going to come back with a 1-star review?
I just got him. What do you got for a closing time?
I actually don't have a closing time.
All right.
So I'm going to go to the default and bring up my podcast.
Right. Yeah.
The Fantasy Field Goal. If you haven't listened to it, just dropped one last night.
Right.
So go listen to that. This is actually our last. This is going to be the last one I do bi-weekly. Well, there's going to be one more break.
Yeah.
We're going to hit August.
Right.
I think it's August 1st, actually.
August 1st would be the Tuesday, yeah. Yep.
August 1st, and then we're off and running weekly podcasts at that point.
Nice.
All the way through the football season. So go listen to that. I mock draft, and then I lose the team I mock drafted, and then sloppily try to remember it off the top of my head. Add players to the team I definitely didn't draft. Noticed that today when I went back and listened to it.
Hashtag fucking Joe.
I think I gave myself John Brown. Didn't draft John Brown.
No, why not?
In the actual thing.
But it's yours now.
Wished I did. Might have done the same thing with Tyrell Williams. So
right.
Yeah. I also noticed. So Aaron, you're gonna have a bi-weekly podcast, right?
Yes, sir.
That's interesting. I have a bi-weekly podcast. It's gonna be a weekly podcast. I haven't heard Dave speak in any time now.
Man. Something's got to piss me off.
Start talking about them jerseys.
Do the jerseys.
You could do one about one about Ray Allen getting his jersey retired.
Yeah, it's dumb. That's dumb. But I just don't give a shit enough. But it's like, okay, here's what I think. Don't.
You could do one,
and then the end. It'd be like, shut the fuck up and listen to me. Don't retire it.
That would actually be. That would actually be.
Dave. that would be it.
That would actually be a funny podcast.
Right. That would be a good podcast. That's a real short cast for you.
Don't do that.
I've been looking for something to get under my skin enough lately, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm really happy with the podcast. And I've actually put together some little research table spreadsheet that I made today, and I've looked back at some of our production, and we have continued to do exactly what I hoped we would do, and that's grow and grow and grow, and we can't do that without listeners. And I want to say thank you to the people that have listened, that have shared it, that have continued to spread the good word. Also for the potential robot listeners on Cast Crunch, I'm not sure like if those are real.
No, they're real.
They're definitely real.
They're real.
They gotta be. So yeah,
no such thing as robot listeners.
That's true.
Even robots have a soul.
It's true. Yeah, and only soulless people don't listen to podcasts. That's a fact. That is a fact. So. No, I just want to say you guys have all done a really good job. I know I haven't done the Dave Speaks. Please forgive me. I also did say in the first episode that it would not be on a schedule. So you can't hold a gun to my head.
No, you just said you were going to do it when you were excited.
You can't tell an artist when to artist.
Exactly, right. Yeah. Like I wake up at 4:44 in the morning and I just look at the clock and I'm like,
all right, Jay-Z, relax.
Right, that's it. And then it's going to be Dave Speaks episode 444.
Just skip.
That's going to be my next one. So again, nice podcast. Nice podcast.
I apologize. I put up the fantasy field goal in haste, and listening back to it today, didn't run it through my normal filter I do to take out some of the hum. Mm-hmm. So there is a pretty bad hum.
It's all right. It's free.
Forgive me.
Right.
Suck it up.
Yeah, you guys get this shit free every fucking week from us, okay? So,
well, mine's bi-weekly.
Right, bi-weekly, right? But it will be.
Suck it up for the hum. I'll fix the hum next episode. Normally I try and take it out or diminish it a little bit, but for some reason there's a really bad hum.
That's all right. So we're good to go. Or Jesus,
we're good to go.
We're good to go here. Yeah. Just take that one back.
Try that again.
We're good to go here. I want to take another second to thank Michael Holley of WEEI.
That's right, people. Michael Holley was on the podcast.
Author of Papi, My Story, which is out in stores now. Go pick it up.
Still sweating.
It's
still sweating.
Joe, also, I can hear your hands.
Didn't throw up.
You didn't puke, which is great. That's a great start.
Night hasn't ended yet.
Yeah, you still got some time.
Let it hit you.
But at this point, it might be unrelated to Michael Holley.
you just
be throwing up.
Right, that's no good. But I can still hear someone's hand sweating. I don't know who's that.
Probably mine.
He did say he would rejoin us.
He would come back on.
Yeah, he said he would come back on.
Which is great.
So there's always potential for throw up.
Right. I thought that was going to be the moment where he's like, all right, and I said, do you have any questions for us? He says, yeah, first off, God bless you guys. This is great. I had so much fun. Second, when am I coming back on? And I thought that was it. As soon as he started saying, when am I coming back on? I was like, Joe, he's in trouble.
I didn't scare him away.
That's the big thing. He answered the Marry, Fuck, Kill game.
I tried to, because I know he doesn't swear, and I know he
Marry, F, Kill. I saw you did.
I said Marry, F, Kill.
Yeah.
Which turned into Marry, hold hands, and walk on the beach.
Marry, mandate, kill. So no, I want to thank you so sincerely from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure I can speak on behalf of you guys.
Yes, sir.
The amount of time and energy he put into this tonight was unreal.
Not what you would expect from somebody so busy.
Right, and it was just perfect. I couldn't ask for a better
interviewer.
Yeah, and an exchange with him, and he is of course one of my role models as a sports professional.
Yeah, no, like he's what we want to be.
Right, he is the dream. So Michael Holley, go pick his fucking books up, man. They are
Michael the Dream Holley. He is the dream.
He's the dream. Go pick his books up. They're great reads. I'm not just saying that 'cause he was on the show. I own 3 out of his 5, and another one's downloaded on my phone.
I'm buying the Teddy Brisky book.
You got to go do that.
No, I already have it on my Amazon.
Perfect. It's in the cart. Just
wait.
It's coming.
I will definitely look for War Room on Audible again.
He seemed mad about that. Not mad, but like mad.
He's
mad that you couldn't get it.
He was like, "Where are you at?
Where are you at? Like, where are you?
You got bookstores there?"
Yeah.
I was like, I don't read, Holley.
He's a driver, you know? But that's going to be it for this week. If you enjoyed the interview, share it with a friend. Show it.
I'll be sharing it everywhere.
Right, yeah. I don't mean, I know we're going to share it. I mean the listener, that you right now, you. Yeah, you. Yeah.
3 things,
the one that tried
actually.
to turn the radio down and see if it was you. Yeah, you. Share this.
3 things, actually. If you enjoyed the interview, if you enjoyed our podcast, maybe 4 things. 1, go back and listen to them if you haven't, the old ones.
Right.
/ tweet it out.
Right.
Or share it on Facebook in general with complete strangers.
Right. Why not?
2, share it with a close friend. Maybe an intimate setting. Could invite them over, light some candles.
Right. Have a listening party.
Maybe make a dinner and go, hey, have you listened to the Boston Sports Nerds before? Really push it on them.
Right.
And 3, rate, review, and subscribe.
Right. Naturally.
If you haven't done that already.
And $1 a month, get you all access. It's now filled with content. Before we did those things, and there's nothing on the website.
Yeah, it's just like,
now,
hey, when you
just please give us $1.
If you,
right.
It was just like an empty promise. Like,
right, yeah.
Hey, if you give us $1, we promise we'll put some stuff here.
But there is meat on those bones right now, and you can go buy a rack of ribs on patreon.com/BSNerds, and that was a pretty euphoric way to explain that metaphor.
Just like a tiny, tasty morsel right now, and as it grows, we'll add some more exclusive content to Patreon.
Of course, yeah, we'll get all that stuff figured out. And like we said, if we get some Patreon members, the Hall of Fame episodes will be exclusive to Patreon, that kind of stuff. So we'll work out a whole bunch of stuff. Aaron's going to be doing toy runs with his boy Jerry from the W.E.C.P. Maybe some of those toy run videos or something like that. Or
some videos or some recordings.
The car recordings, stuff like that. Those could go on as private things. So check us out. Michael Holley, again, thank you so much. I put my hands together and bow my head to the great Michael Holley, and have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Adios.